Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the final days of the StarLadder I-League Invitational Season 3 Chinese Qualifiers. I am Luminous, and I'm joined by Tsunami, and you're watching LGD versus Vici Gaming for the lower bracket finals. We got a draft on the way. We saw Vici, I think, beating eHome yesterday and moving on to the spot they are in now. But more importantly, LGD falling to LFY in a best of 3 series. It was a tight 3-game series. There was a lot of clowny shit. There's perhaps some throws involved, but regardless, we're gonna get a lot more maybe games today, which I'm always a big fan of.
Yeah, but I'm a fan of more Ame games, if you feel me. No, it was a tight series between LFY and LGD, and I guess it's vengeance for LGD beating them out in Hamburg. It's not over yet. Both the LG squads are still in, but right now they're gonna have to beat Vici Gaming to get that rematch in the grand finals. And what better way to get that rematch than the way that LGD beat Vici Gaming in day 1 of this qualifier, which was FY Puck making a reappearance.
Yeah, I think in the series that we saw LGD lose yesterday, the FY Puck in particular has been doing insane amount of work. The split pushing was real. Once he started upgrading that Dagon, he became a big relevant threat again in the team fight. So I think it's when he gets these really big playmaking heroes like Puck or the offlane Shaker or stuff like that, I feel like he is going to be quite a contender. Whereas I think if he gets more of like the team-oriented heroes like I think Prophet the other day, it wasn't nearly as good. So I'm glad to see him back on the
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. Though,
5 seconds.
time and time again, we've been seeing teams go back to this Wyvern, and I don't know what the obsession is with it. We've seen basically 7 or 6 days worth of Wyvern, and at no point have I ever thought that, wow, this hero is really making a big difference. Like, Cold Embrace totally changed that fight, or Splinter Blast is breaking a bunch of Lincolns, or Winter's Curse made that core die. I don't know why everyone likes Wyvern so much.
Yeah, maybe with the third pick Wyvern, it's really limiting what Vici could be picking. For example, we might see more of melee cores like Sven if Wyvern isn't selected up. So maybe it's one of those things where by drafting Wyvern, then it kind of limits where Vici could go with the draft. Although I kind of doubt that. I feel like Wyvern on paper is an amazing hero, but in practice hasn't really been all that good.
It's possible that they're just kind of going back to what beat Vici the first time. In their very first match together, it was basically the same lineup that LGD had, and their carry was an anti-mage played by Ame and a Viper played by Maybe. So, you know, if it ain't broke, maybe you don't need to bother fixing it. Whereas Vici Gaming, they're definitely trying to change the dynamic a little bit. They've had Death Prophet and Batrider versus the LGD squad before, but this Bane Tusk thing is new. In fact, we've only seen Tusk maybe once or twice before, and one of the times it was to used great success against a aggressive tri-lane situation. But
yep.
Aside from that, I've always been kind of skeptical of the roaming potential of this hero these days compared to like Sand Kings and Nyx Assassins and stuff like that.
I actually recall that game very vividly. It was Afu's Tusk. He won the tri-lane versus I believe a Prophet tri-lane of some sort. They just can't keep running at the tri-lane. They won the tri-lane, and then in the mid game where I think Tusk got the Blink Dagger, it was supposed to save ally from like Reaper Scythe and stuff. It just fell apart, and they kind of just ran over to Tusk. The late game of Tusk is somewhat left to be desired. We do see a Phantom Lancer being picked up here, and now if you look at LGD squad, they are building multiple cores multiple heroes rather, that really don't mind the ice shards. Right now only Shaker really cares about it, and obviously he's going to stay relatively far back to begin with. And I know we are on the Wyvern hate train, but I think this is actually a great Wyvern game. The Winter's Curse really makes it hard for Tusk to do any type of snowball play because, well, he's going to get sucked in and start attacking. And also we've seen Wyvern's Curse being a very good defensive tool. For example, when Batrider blinks into lasso somebody, you just curse the Batrider immediately, and all of a sudden, instead of Batrider initiating against one of your cores, Batrider just jumps in, gets focused by the rest of his allies, and it's a very decent counter nation should your Wyvern player be on point. So Again, on paper, I
Well,
think Wyvern's good, but, you know, who knows?
should your Wyvern be on point, and should the rest of your teammates be on point? Because yesterday we saw a curse reaction to a lasso, followed up by a straight-up Echo Slam onto that curse by Wyvern's ally that effectively did nothing.
Okay.
Or no, it was an RP onto the curse, and
Right.
then afterwards the Epicenter did do something. So yeah, it takes a little bit of coordination, but a Puck plus a Shaker plus a Wyvern can definitely take advantage of close quarters combat, and a Razor on top of that. That's the first time we've seen a Razor throughout this entire qualifier, and it's
Yeah.
going to be played by Maybe.
Yep, it's gonna be the mid lane matchup versus the Death Prophet. I really love the final pick for Weaver. Not only is it a very kind of mobile hero that could dance around in these team fights, really good for picking up after Puck, or rather picking off the Winter Wyvern, as well as Earthshaker once his spells are down. But more importantly, you can't really drain damage from the Weaver because he'll just Sakuchi away. One of Razor's strongest point is that he's picked as a anti-core with the Link, and the static Link will not be a good tool against the Weaver. So, good solid draft here from both teams, but I think I'm gonna be with the Vici draft a little bit more.
Okay. I'll go with the LGD draft in that case, because I do agree that Weaver's going to be able to be very mobile, but Weaver's also like a purely single target. In fact, a lot of this team is purely single target damage, whereas Ame's Phantom Lancer is not concerned with that. You need AoE damage, and so far, really it's only Death Prophet, which even in Exorcism she's single target, but I guess the Crypt Swarm can help isolate a target, but that's only an early game thing. Late game, I'm concerned that Ame's Phantom Lancer may get out of control for Vici Gaming to deal with.
Yeah, they don't really have good AoE. I mean, if your best AoE hero is Batrider, then I think your draft has a little bit of issues. With that said, though, Ori has... I think this is his best hero. He's played it a bunch of times now in this tournament. He's gone beyond Godlike multiple times. To me, it's not really about whether they play their heroes well, but more so whether they kind of have good timing in the mid-game. Because we've seen Vici lose a lot when they take weird fights without Exorcism, or when they kind of, let's say, go into for a Roche fight, they win that fight, and then the other team says, alright, Exorcism is down, let's take a couple of objectives. So they gotta be very careful using that long cooldown ultimate, because if you look at the LGD squad, they don't have any long cooldown ultimate. Everybody's ready to fight pretty much at any given moment. So I think on that note, LGD gets the big edge.
Yeah, the most significant one is Echo Slam, and it's I'm actually curious how much farm they're going to be giving this Earthshaker. So, like, on day 5 of this qualifier, we saw a lot of early gold on Shakers, a lot of early Blink Daggers, and then following up in, like, Force Staffs and Shadow Blades and stuff like that. But then the following day, we saw Earthshakers just on food stamps half the time, because they were never able to complete a Blink Dagger until, like, 25 minutes. And unsurprisingly, it left to an unsuccessful Shaker game. So I hope they give Victoria a chance to farm up some items. And seeing as how your other support is a Winter Wyvern who's mostly gold independent, doesn't really need that any real core items. Yeah, sure, it's nice if you get a Glimmer Cape, but it's not even like Vici Gaming have that much magic damage. They find Young 11, Batrider.
That's actually a really big find. What he wanted to do is drag the creep wave over here and get a free farm, but now he's essentially lost all of his regen just from that one play. But back to your point, I think the change between day 5 and day 6 is that players, and teams rather, are starting to be a lot more aggressive in the early game. Look at the supports of Vici, right? You got a Bane that can move around the map very effectively, Tusk, a very big threat early on, and even these cores, the Weaver, the Death Prophet, they could come out the gates blazing with nukes and kill potential. So I think in those scenarios is where we've seen Shaker really be on the food stamps, like you mentioned. So, I mean, I agree with you. I hope they give more farm to Victoria, but I just don't think he'll get it.
Well, maybe if he gets this Fissure Block, Bane wants nothing to do with it. Bane has 310 move speed, so he's not really too concerned. And he's still trading, even after being static linked. Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of this dual mid Bane with the Enfeeble stuff.
Yep.
Well, not a lot, but we've seen it like at least 3 times now, and it's irritating at first, but at the end of the day, you still took Enfeeble, and you can't ever take that level back. And we've seen Banes so many times just completely skip the spell for ages. It's now a really nice block, but no, not really nice, as Fenrir slips through the crack.
So normally I'm not a big fan for Invivo first at all in the mid lane for most of the reason you said, but the other big thing is that it costs a ton of mana. And it's not, like, it helps you for a couple minutes, or not, a couple seconds rather. But once that wears off, then, you know, maybe you could CS again. But in this particular scenario, it really takes away the edge of what the static link is doing for the Razor at the same time, so... I think in this particular lane, the Invivo does do some nice work.
Yeah, we'll see how much time Bane wants to spend here in this mid lane. Death Prophet not a hero that traditionally needs the support of a second hero, but I guess the Razor matchup may be a little bit more than she's willing to deal with by herself, and it's forcing a lot of LGD attention. Yao has now come here to the mid lane, Shaker's still hunting around, maybe for a block, so this Bane is serving a purpose, that's for sure.
Yep. And rest of the map, we are having some decent 1v1s here. LGD, Ame on the bottom side. Because of the nice move where they found the Bat Rider early, this Bat is completely out of regen. And I don't exactly know what he's going to really do in this lane. Ame is essentially having free farm, even though he doesn't have any support here with him. And meanwhile, looking at the top lane here, FY, having essentially a 1v1 against Paparazzi's Weaver. But I think Puck's early nice base stats should carry him in this lane. You just need to be very careful to not use his orb.
Right. Which right now FY is sitting on his level 2, and I guess until he sees where Tusk is, he'll decide if he needs phase shift or not. As now Lanham's gonna show himself.
Okay.
And there's the orb to get out.
Right. Still not selecting the phase or waning rift. Interesting.
Well, Weaver's a squishy hero, and sometimes you may find an opportunity in which you're like, wait, I can just kill him. Even if I go for this aggressive play with my orb, I won't get punished too heavily because it's just a Tusk who's going to be the person turning it around. As now Victoria has decided to retire from the mid lane and go up top. Kind of blocks in Tusk, who does not have any tangos.
Tusk got Snowball, so he never really worried about dying. In fact, it's going to be stunned, following through. He actually rose towards the creep wave. Paparazzi is dropping pretty low, but he should be okay. The orb is following. Nice! Oh my god, the Tusk. And now the neutrals are getting into the action. Paparazzi taking a lot from this Ghost FY. Almost going down, and now Sakuchi's gonna come in for the first blood. Lanham trying to walk away. Victoria, oh, the snowball turnaround. Lanham making that happen. 2-0 here. Early good start for Vici. I'm dropping a bit of frames here, but hopefully that would fix itself shortly.
Dude has 3 armor and was able to survive that. Shaker even took Enchant Totem and was not able to do enough damage, so pretty nice rotation coming out from the Bane and the Tusk.
I'm gonna go for a quick reconnect. Hopefully it'll...
Okay. While you do that, also fix the stream title, because it's not LFY playing.
Oh. Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, LFY,
cool.
LGD, it's pretty much...
It's all the same thing.
Owned by the same boss.
Use some radio in the meantime.
Alright.
Maybe is repeatedly going for these static links, or he's more than content just to walk away, seeing as how the dude is continuously getting enfeebled after visiting the top lane. Bane goes back mid, puts an enfeeble. 2 points in enfeeble. Dude is maxing out enfeeble. Fenrir, what a boss. Is now in the top lane. They find Lanham.
Oh.
Silence too late.
Man, this Lanham, he is so far the Tom Hanks of today, with this kind of sick move and juking and
Got
jiving.
him. I don't think we can rely on these inside jokes for the finals. We have to be a little bit more professional.
We'll see how things go. It's not the finals yet. This is the losers finals for the losers.
Oh, that's true, that's true. I like how Lanham keeps selecting creeps to snowball too.
Yeah.
So often you'll see Tusk just straight go to the enemy that's attacking them and just like hold into the snowball, but that means that you're going to end up going to the enemy. So Lanham is being very strategic with his targets.
Although
now they want to go again on Paparazzi.
I want to say for the most part, if he has gone to the heroes, would have actually gotten the kills more easily. Because he's never really in that much trouble.
Possibly, but I think that when you're dealing with an Earthshaker, you never want to get into melee range against an Enchant Totem. Well, they're going in again. Nice silence, but doesn't last very long. They don't have any sentry wards, which I guess makes sense. Once Weaver goes into Shikuchi, he's really fast anyway, so whether you see him or not doesn't matter. I'm pinging out a siege creep.
I'm lagging so hard that I see 2 fissures on top of each other.
Oh man.
That's just... By the way, have you ever played mid Bane by a max Enfeeble?
Not in recent patches, but whenever Bane first came out, I did.
Yeah, that is actually the real cancer. They actually have no base damage at all, and they can't see us in the mid lane.
I think the problem was that I played it like against Alina, and she was just like, well,
Dragon
I'm
Slave.
just gonna use my spells anyway.
Right. But that build is definitely a thing now, if you want to do that again.
It is, but this is a support Bane, so
Yeah.
again, like, he has 2 points in Enfeeble, and Bane is not a hero that's known to be able to get levels really easily. Yes, it's very irritating for FY and Maybe, but Maybe's doing fine. He's actually out net worthing and out CSing the Death Prophet by a significant margin. So, what good was that Enfeeble really doing for you?
Yeah, but you gotta keep in mind that they did
Bot lane,
rotate a couple of heroes.
Firefly, Ame, his doppelganger's down.
They're gonna go for Lanham first. Lanham looks like he's gonna burn down to the ice, and Ame's gonna go down to the Bat Rider. Okay. So now here comes Death Prophet. Got the Spear Siphon. Good pushback. Can he actually get in range for the second one? Yes, he can. Ori just running supports down. That is a double, and he has the Exorcism going here for the tower. I gotta say that is really good conversion with the Exorcism. You don't get more value than that early game.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that he was able to get down there so quickly. He didn't even use a TP, so he must have just known that the rest of my team is going on this Phantom Lancer and Wyvern, might as well just show up, as PL does get the deny, but still loses a lot of ground in terms of his lane.
We had 6 days of lag-free Dota, and today.
There were a few days every once in a while.
But why?
It's Murphy's Law or whatever.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I see you. I see you with that 5. Well, actually, your ping isn't that bad.
My ping
You
is
have,
fine.
like,
It's just
You have loss.
Yeah, packet loss.
Yeah.
What is the scientific explanation for packet losses? Can you,
I
give
think the
us-
idea is that your stuff is being sent over the series of tubes of the internet.
Okay.
And every once in a while, something gets lost in the tube.
All right. Is that legit science or is this tsunami science?
It can be both.
Okay. I guess they're not mutually exclusive, right?
Exactly.
All right. Top lane. Looks like we have a dive here on Fat but he's got that point in face. He's fine.
Dire's bottom tower
Yeah, they were
is
looking
under
for a
attack.
play on the mid lane, but Ori scanned right underneath himself, so this Invis Shaker was sniffed out.
Yeah, they might have.
And now he's gonna come back, and the
Okay.
Sentry Ward has been placed. But he's gonna get elsewhere.
So I wonder if we're gonna see a Mask of Madness out of the Razor. We've been seeing a lot of that out of just range cores in the mid lane. A standard transition is like MOM into Pike. But I've also seen Hannah Midases pretty frequently, but that's more from safe lane Razors. So let's see where he goes with this one.
He has a Phantom Lancer on his team, so I don't think he needs to be concerned about a Midas, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a Mask of Madness. Only thing is that the transition items aren't that great for Razor. Like, no, more often than not, we'll see that Mask of Madness be turned into, like, a Bloodthorn or the Butterfly, and neither of those items are a high priority for Razor,
Right.
whereas for the other Mask of Madness carriers it has been, so we'll see.
Well, I think the whole transition thing is more of like a nice benefit, but not
Oh, mid lane.
not a necessity. Ori Fissure is gonna
Ori
come through.
Aftershock?
Yeah. TP out attempt. You know, honestly, even if that enchant totem wasn't there, I still think he might have just died. The physical damage.
Yeah. 147 damage stolen by the end of that link.
Dire's
But they can't push with it because Young 11 wisely shows up to the mid lane to defend it.
it's actually
and he's
going
kind
in.
of going aggressive.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
Yo.
Okay. He can fly. But so can they. And he just fed another kill.
What the heck? None of his teammates were even there. If Weaver was around, then maybe I could understand going for that, but that was a confidence move that should not have been confident.
Dire's middle tower is under
Yep.
attack.
The other reason that I would have been okay with just one single value point in Enfeeble is that it can't be dispelled. So it's useful for detecting the real Phantom Lancer, because you can just plop it on him and then he can't doppelgang out of it.
Right.
But still, again, putting 2 points in it is just a little unconventional from what I've seen.
Yeah, you gotta keep in mind that every point you put into Enfeeble is one less point into your Nightmare, which increases the cast range of that spell, which can make all the difference between a successful gank or not. But like you mentioned, Enfeeble is essentially the herpes of debuffs. Nothing gets rid of it. Manta doesn't get rid of it. BKB doesn't get rid of it. Don't get Enfeeble, man. That shit ain't safe.
Yeah, that stays with you. As now top lane, FY almost dies, but wands up at the last second. And Paparazzi is not able to pick up that kill.
Paparazzi, for the first time in many days, actually goes for a rather defensive build. Linken's as his first choice. We've been seeing a lot of that Diffusal Blade after the power threats, but this game perhaps he just feels like there's way too many disables on the other side. And also, with a Winter Wyvern on the field, I don't think he could get kills as easily because of Cold Embrace. Alright,
Which Wyvern has skilled up. Yeah, I was getting some time alone, but yeah, that may end up with the death as Fiend's Grip onto the Razor.
Alright, Future's gonna cancel it, and now Young comes in, but oh, the Centaur coming in with a
Centaur stun.
Can they actually kill him in time? It looks like he's already dead, but the lasso is still going on in my screen. Yao gonna get ran over as well. That's gonna be 2 kills for Vici. They don't lose anybody. And Young 11 gets the Blink Dagger after this, so pretty good rotation. Is he gonna pick up that regen too? Oh baby. Give him the bottle. Alright, he just takes it. No problem. Actually, they don't even have a bottle on Ori.
Even with all that single target damage, Razor still took a hell of a lot of time to go down full Fiend's Grip, and he still practically walked out of it. So this Razor's just gonna get tankier and tankier, which again, as always makes me wonder, like, why should your frontliner be getting Mask of Madness? But, you know, China is on some next level stuff, so they've been doing this on like practically every hero who I think needs to be tanky. And Razor is no exception, but you'll be fine. Because now Paparazzi is going really aggressive to a Phantom Lancer.
Alright. Well, I guess you don't need Diffusal Blade to be aggressive. You are just playing Weaver, which can go aggressive if you feel that they don't have enough stuns for you.
Yeah, well, Diffusal's not going to be useful against PL because he can just doppelganger out of it. And then I guess Razor, technically Unstable Current will proc on you, but like Weaver doesn't care about that slow too much, but yeah, I can see why he's not going for it.
I mean, he might still go back for it, but might not have to, because I still think it's a okay damage item.
I think he should go for something like a Maelstrom this game, or like Maelstrom into Mjolnir.
Okay. Young 11.
Because
Smoke is pop here. We'll see Victoria. Jump, lasso. That's gonna be a 1 kill. They see FY as well, and FY, oh, his orb just ended. We'll get Grip again. 2 kills. I really love Fenrir's movement throughout the map. It seems like whenever he has Fiend's Grip, they just go for a gank. And it so far has been extremely effective.
He's been bringing a lot of his team with him, though. It's not like a dual gank squad with like a Tusk and a Bane, which makes sense because those 2 heroes are not really good enough to be able to pick up a kill, but 4 heroes are committed for that. And yeah, Exorcism didn't have to be used, but then they didn't push a tier 1 tower with it. And so while Fiend's Grip is being used on a consistent basis, Exorcism is not. And this is the time in which you can get away with spamming Exorcism because, like we said, in late game and mid game situations, the cooldown becomes so important that the enemy team will just run you down whenever it's down.
I still think it's okay. Remember the discussion we had about keeping the Shaker down? Well, Victoria, 2, 3, and 1 right now so far. He's got the Arcane boost, but
Young 11.
Oh, coming in for the kill. That Echo Slam looks like it didn't hit anything. Young 11 looks like he'll still die. The Firefly ends at the wrong time. He pushed Victoria away. He might still be alive. The Ice Shard, he blinks away in the last second.
He blinks out.
And now Victoria instead will be going down. Jebaited. That was the 101 Jebait, man. Taught by Young 11 himself. YUNG status.
I don't really know what the deal with Phantom Rush was because a bunch of illusions, like it was well played by Young 11 to like keep weaving back and forth on that cliff because the Phantom Rush illusions kept going like uphill and then immediately pathing downhill and then going back uphill again, and so then eventually his Blink Dagger came off cooldown. That lance was so close to connecting, but his Blink Dagger was just unbroken at that perfect time and he gets out.
Also, man, cliffs. Like when heroes are on cliffs, like, Dota just freaks out. I think Shaker thought he was in range of the Echo Slam, and the Echo just hit ground. So,
well, I think the Echo connected, but the Aftershock did not connect, and they needed that stun.
Well, I mean, he was so close to dying. They just needed a tiny bit more damage.
Yeah.
Bad Rider cancel lasso again, and looks like they're ready to push this tier 1 tower. Illusion's being sent forward, trying to bait out a lasso. Now we see the Bad Rider going bottom again, and poor Shaker. They're never allowing him to get this blink. Weaver is going to be here. They drop out the Swarm. Shaker going to get brought down. The fire is going to burn him off.
Meanwhile, top lane, Lamb, Tusk going in deep for an Ame kill, but did not work out since he just doppelganged out of the snowball.
Okay. Still though, Dire putting a ton of pressure, sieging mid and bottom simultaneously.
Radiant's bottom tower
Glyph is forced, and this tier 2 is at half HP.
Paparazzi still has yet to complete that Lincoln, as it's only 17 minutes into the game, but yeah, he's farming pretty well. It wasn't as much free farm as it was for this Phantom Lancer, but Paparazzi has also been more active than the PL has been, getting these kills on Shaker and whatnot as Ame dodges a potential Fiend's Grip.
We do see the problem of Bane as a hero. His animation looks so ridiculous as he slowly raises his arm. They see Yao though, as Bat Riders taking a lesson from the Boboka playbook, just sitting on cliffs. And that should be a very easy kill, but they see the Shaker. Oh, that's public enemy number 1 if they want him. Lasso still down for 15.
I think they want this tower, so they're just going to go for whoever defends the tower, which is going to be Wyvern. Lasso is down right now, but you can just toast her.
Yep. That's a style kill. Yep.
Toasted.
Tier 2 is going to go down. Man, Vici is playing supremely well.
Yeah, the best way to react to a carry Phantom Lancer when you don't have any AoE is to never let him become a carry. Ame has gone for straight BOT's first item as opposed to Diffusal Blade, which, you know, it's different styles. Like, BOT first is obviously like not like a recovery thing. Sometimes it's just like, I felt like I needed to be more mobile, and since your team keeps 4-manning, 5-manning, I'm just gonna go to wherever you're not. So he's still getting farm at a pretty quick pace, but even once you get Diffusal Blade, while it is a spike for PL, it's not a massive spike, especially whenever your team is like pretty tanky. And, you know, Weaver is not that tanky, but Tusk, we've seen him be able to frontline. Death Prophet isn't too concerned when she can Spirit Siphon. Bat Rider did not go for a Drum first, but he has his 4-staff completed, so that also helps him out a little bit. And they're going to go for Roche with Exorcism.
I actually personally really dislike the BOT choice. I don't remember when's the last time I've seen a BOT PL actually win a game. Yeah, sure, you could farm a little bit faster and you could join fights. The problem is that these early mid to critical... These early mid-game fights are so critical that it just gave away Aegis.
Lasso, Wyvern, low
that's
ground,
gonna be another kill.
dead.
Yeah, you essentially don't have a hero on the map when you have PL. Yeah, sure, he can come in with lances and stuff, but any kind of long, drawn-out team fights, you really need that stats and the tankiness that a power treads provide you.
Well, that's true, but either that or you have first item Diffusal Blade, and LGD have not been wanting to play aggressive. Like, FY, I don't think has dream coiled anyone yet, as far as I can tell. And he went for first item Blink Dagger. It wasn't a first item Veil, which is usually what you go for whenever you want to do like a farming defensive puck. And so FY wants to fight, and yet Phantom Lancer does not seem in the mood to fight, like you said, with this BOT first item. So yeah, it is a bit disconnected, the way that LGD are itemizing their heroes.
I think a big problem is that it's Vici kind of setting the pace of the game. They're putting so much pressure on LGD. I mean, you could make the argument that the Blink Dagger on the puck is a fighting item. At the same time, you could also use it as a split push, which is definitely not plan A, but a strong plan B for a puck. And I think that's exactly what FY's been doing.
Dire's middle tower has been denied.
By the way, I want to point out Finrir's item build. He's gone for both the Windlace and the Tranquil Boots, which just puts him at, well, over 450 movement speed. Which is very important for Bane to actually get close enough to get off his Fiend's Grip and Nightmare. And again, of course, Shaker gonna get grabbed. He's dead.
Poor Victoria.
Yep, no blink.
Yeah, and then after that, Fenrir... Oh man, and they get this ward. Fenrir is going to be going for a Glimmer Cape after that, which sometimes, because of all these shortcomings of Bane, we've seen Aether Lens to be a somewhat common item on him, but I don't think we've seen a single Aether Lens throughout this entire qualifier. It seems like more offensive as FY. It's silenced!
Okay, they can snowball him, punch him maybe as well. Not enough to actually burn him down. The Curse actually not doing anything on the backline. Ori taking a ton of that damage. The BKB and Mask of Madness reveal maybe just runs over kids on the top side here. Looks like the PL has joined the fight thanks to that BOT. Fenrir walks into the backline, will get caught down as well. LGD grabs 3 kills. I gotta say, taking the fight without the flaming lasso initiation nor committing the exorcism was a big mistake.
Would you say that Vici Gaming taking fights without exorcism is like one of their most famous claims to failure fame?
Yeah.
'Cause,
Pretty much.
Like, every single time, I swear.
Well, I think they all got surprised that the BKB came out for the Razor so quickly. It's not a build that you see out of Razor all too frequently, right?
Oh, yeah. Gonna get toasted again by this batter. Oh, never mind.
Oh, no. Just...
But what? Oh?
Is that a style BM?
Maybe. Maybe
had
he
a-
didn't know that curse was used.
No,
and
he
he
had-
was just like, oh god, she's gonna curse me.
Maybe. He had haste rune, so I guess he wanted to check the trees, but like, that's some... Alright. That's cool, I guess.
Well, Young Eleven is having a great game. He's having like the polar opposite game of Earthshaker right now.
Yeah. Which, you know, it looked a little bit rough in the lane versus PL. Given his start where he tried to go for the little lane pull and then got found.
True.
But I want to focus on this Razor a little bit. Normally when we see early BKB like this, we always talk about how risky that is, right? Because if you don't win those early game fights and your BKB goes down to 5 seconds, you're in a big problem as the mid and late game rolls around. But kind of this single-handedly just gave his team a 3-0 fight just up top. So I gotta say that fight alone makes the BKB well worth it.
Especially against this specific Vici comp, because even with a 5-second BKB, like, you're still gonna get Fiend's Gripped, you're still gonna get lassoed, and you're still gonna take exorcism damage. So 10 seconds, 5 seconds, it'll help mitigate some of the damage, but it's not as critical as it is against, like, when you're against, like, a Shaker or an Elder Titan or stuff, or heroes like that really start taking advantage of you as soon as your BKB duration times out. And man, they need to defend the high ground.
Yeah. And Vici has exorcism, but God knows if they'll use it or not. So they'll back off for now. Speaking of BKBs, DP going to finish her BKB as well. Looks like it's flying out right about now. BKB is one thing though. The way that I saw Ori melt in that last team fight, he needs an armor item. Looks like he's going to be going for Shiva's guard right after that.
Yeah, the Yules will also help a little bit with his survivability. It's kind of a little tricky because sometimes you may get static linked and then you'll be forced to Yules yourself, and then Razor's like, okay, that's fine, you can continue giving me like 2.5 more seconds of blink.
So this has got to be one of the biggest Batrider I've seen in recent memory. 7-1-7 is his score. I think
oh my god,
yeah.
Ani finds Fenrir.
Okay.
Take off the Nightmare with an illusion. Keep on running him down, he's a lot of mana. Spend 2 defusal charges, but that's worth.
Alright, well, I caught
was
maybe
good.
3 frames of that fight. Mid lane, LGD comes in. They got the Echo Slam, but no blink, of course, because Victoria is poor. They see Paparazzi going in the trees. His Aegis has timed out.
No, but he has Lincolns, so your ideal initiation, if you don't have a Shaker Blink, is going to be Winter's Curse, as that's probably your longest range spell, but you
Fissure?
have no time to pop the Lincolns. Well, yeah, Fissure technically, but
Fissure
it's
pops the
still
Lincolns and
not as
stuns, right?
reliable. No, not anymore. It just stuns. No
Just
Lincolns
stuns.
popping.
Stunning against the Weaver is probably step number 1. I'm gonna go for Recon again.
Another reconnect?
Yeah, man.
Alright.
Oh, better we actually see the frames, yeah?
I love Dota.ppt. Weaver does end up going for that Maelstrom, and it looks like he wants to go straight into the Mjolnir, so he realizes that Phantom Lancer is going to be the #1 target that needs to be dealt with for this Vici squad, otherwise you're just going to lose every team fight. As Young Eleven looking for a lasso, but this smoke is way off target right now.
Wait, he's
And-
upgrading to Mjolnir?
Hell yeah.
That seems dubious, right? Because Phantom Lancer could just purge it off. I mean, yeah, sure,
That's
he has
true.
to use a charge, but you're spending like 3 extra K on an item that you counter by an item that PL already has.
Well, also you have the greater lightning bounce target or whatever.
Sure, but
You're
that's
not
not really
limited
the
by
reason.
Maelstrom.
You're upgrading.
Well, it's part of the reason. Against a Phantom Lancer, it's definitely part of the reason. I mean, you go from 4 chain targets to 12 chain targets, and 4 chain targets will usually just burn off Phantom Lancer's illusions, but 12 can go all the way to his team throughout a team fight. So there are advantages, and obviously Weaver is a big fan of attack speed as well, so I agree that the static shield is a big part of it, but I guess if you force Phantom Lancer to burn so many diffusal charges, and actually a Razor to burn diffusal charges, as Razor's finished a diffusal blade of his own, so yeah, we'll see.
Well, I think LGD is doing a very good job biding their time, even though Shaker in particular hasn't been doing too well. This Razor is very, very big. I mean, if he gets up to Butterfly, I think LGD could suddenly just go on the offensive, start sieging tier 2 buildings, because this Razor sitting in the front line is just a big threat. And of course, Ame has nicely scaled up as well. Gonna finish that Mantis out relatively soon, and then he could start thinking about a late game choice as well. I think if the game goes at this pacing, Vici might just lose it out in the late game.
Yeah, I can see that happening, as Mjolnir is a somewhat good farming item, but it's not a great, like, single target damage item, and you're gonna need, specifically, like, we talked about the strength of Vici Gaming's single target damage, but Razor is kind of becoming too large for Ori's Death Prophet to deal with, and while evasion from Butterfly won't help with Exorcism, he still has, like, a lot of inherent armor. Like, he's just rolling around with 15 armor right now, with no real armor items besides Aquila.
Yeah, once that Butterfly comes online, then that's, you know, a lot more armor on top of that. Now, Vici could spend the Exorcism for the Roche if they want.
They have really good vision, but they're not 100% sure what may happen with the smoke, and that's why they've posted up Young 11 on this ancient area. And they actually see Radiant, Razor, but not anyone else behind him.
Alright, some PL illusions pops out. And LGD charges forward. Bat Rider will scale out a couple of heroes. Looks like the Aegis Enchis has dropped. Exorcism has been committed. I think Young 11 and the team should just go back. They burned the big ultimate for the Roche, but okay. No curse for the 1 kill.
Aw, poor Tusk. Well, 224 damage to him. Lanham accepts his fate.
As you saw there, you could still link or steal damage from people that are in Snowball, that are BKB'd, that are Nightmared.
Oh, Ame, going aggressive.
Fine. Okay, Lasso, does he get the real one? I'm not sure what he did, but
no,
it doesn't matter.
Not.
Young 11 is gonna just straight up die to all of that illusion. And just gave away a 6-kill streak to Ame. In fact, LGD feeling like they could actually just pressure despite the fact that they lost Aegis.
Let's keep in mind that LGD is the team that just did not get Roche, and yet they're playing like they have Aegis and cheese.
There's no Exorcism for a full minute.
Do they know that, though?
Yes,
Did
they saw the
see
ghost. Yeah, they saw DP running out of the pit with the ghost.
Oh, yeah, because Razor went down.
Yeah.
Well, then, there you go.
This is tier 3.
Classic Vici Gaming.
Alright, good glyph. I mean, they're just like having their hands full with the illusions on the back line. And maybe you could just pop that Mask of Madness again if he wants to. Looks like they won't be able to get the tier 3, but good damage on it.
He still has his 9-second BKB. He's only used it once ever since he purchased it. Also, Shaker has completed a Blink Dagger finally, so life's good for LGD's squad until Exorcism comes back, which will be back in 30 seconds.
Jump away. Oh god, oh god. That's some picnic micro. Blinken, Lasso finds a real
he
one.
got it.
Is there enough damage? They need a snowball. They will get a snowball and they punch him dead.
Nice.
Okay, but simultaneously it looks like it's gonna be. Wait. That fissure actually helped Ori quite a bit. Oh god.
He's getting juked. Juked Yules? Siphon? Fiend's Grip? You have to pop that. Oh, he doesn't have a Lincoln's.
Grip
Wait,
him.
where's the Fiend's Grip? There we go. Nice.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
You did get a BKB charge out of DP, so that's not bad. It was 10-second BKB.
Yep. And losing a puck so deep in the enemy jungle is like, whatever.
Especially because it's a pretty underfarmed puck. Because like we said, FY went for this Blink Dagger as opposed to a farming build like like a Veiled Discord, and so this is the 5th lowest net worth puck. So it's not really that big of a deal if you trade your life like that.
Yeah. In fact, yesterday he went for a Midas 2nd item puck, which hit 25, was doing a lot of big things. And this game, recognizing that, look, maybe as well as Ame is gonna do most of the heavy lifting, so. His job is to do a little bit of split pushing, join the fights whenever, and not sap the resources off the map. Oh, Exorcism's back up, so...
Time to party.
Yeah.
Paparazzi has Aegis for another minute and a half.
Young 11 jumps in. Does he want the puck or does he want Ame? Checking on his vision. Doesn't see anything.
Wyvern.
It's nighttime. Bat Rider is blind at nighttime. They ping him out before he actually sees anything. FY coils in. They grab 2. And now here comes maybe BKB. Is he going to get activated? There's a BKB.
Nice.
And now walks forward, start right-clicking away. Where's the link just yet? Looks like he's silent so far thanks to the Mask of Madness. Paparazzi will be able to run away. Victoria? Does he have a Fissure to connect? Fissure will connect. They Orban and the Raining Rift. Paparazzi runs away barely. He's got a link in, so he should be able to block. Oh no, it doesn't matter. The Waning Rift catches him. And Echo Slam should be good. Enchant Totem to follow things up. Great Chain Slam from LGD. They had Exorcism, could not use it.
No, they couldn't. All off the back of some somewhat overzealous play by the Bat Rider. They were hunting extremely aggressively at nighttime, like you said, for some lasso target, but LGD were scattering, and then after that, it turned to daytime, and Yao was just like, wait, we can just turn this around. Puck entered in with the Dream Coil, locked down 2 targets, and now Ori does not want to let them get to high ground, but yeah, I'm surprised that Paparazzi was not ever finding an opportunity to use his time lapse. Like, he was at low HP the entire time, is now Young 11, looking for a puck. And they're gonna get the puck.
Fast snowball.
I'm very fast.
Yeah, good thing I swapped to Dire Vision during that Bat Rider dive, because the raiding heroes were just literally outside, just barely outside of the Bat. Because I believe Bat had like a Night Vision nerf a long while ago. Now he has like...
It was a Day Vision nerf. His Night Vision's just as bad as everyone else, but his Day Vision is worse than everyone.
Oh, he's just blind all the time.
Tusk is doing a good job staying relevant in the late game.
Yep.
Lanham has managed to make these snowballs seem super value. During that team fight after the Dream Coil, he just promptly sucked 3 of his allies into the snowball, and they pieced out afterwards. Yep. And I think that's part of the reason why the Razor had to activate Mask of Madness before getting a link off, is because he's like, I need to catch up with these people. It doesn't really matter if I do damage to them, I just need to make sure they don't leave the fight.
I think he miscued it, right? If he could link and then Mask of Madness, that fight might have been a little bit different. But if for a moment I may talk about Tusk's talents, because we don't see that hero too often. 40% experience gain at 10. That is absolutely insane as a talent. Just think about, I think Dragon Knight gets a 40% experience gain at 15, but this is a support getting it at 10. That's a big difference. I'll talk about the rest later as we're gonna see a jump. Bat Rider lasso on maybe. Can they actually break it? No, they can't. Here comes the Ori Exorcism. Great Ice Shard keeping maybe in place as well. There is a heal from the Wyvern, but he's now really locked under the tower. Ori moves forward, kills the Wyvern, and now goes on maybe 2 kills so far on the backline. They find Fenrir, but Fenrir very tanky because he's a Bane. We have the puck moving forward as well. The PL goes in though. Do they have enough AoE for Ame? Ame dropping fast. They find the real one. They grip it. Fenrir.
Wow.
Great control. They win the team fight with 3 kills. And unfortunately for them, they won't be able to get any objectives off of it. And Exorcism is down for the next 2 minutes.
Oh, FY? No, he's not going to go for it. I can't believe Fenrir actually found the real PL. That is not easy to target with Fiend's Grip at all, but he manages to get it.
Yep.
And they take down the PL, and Razor was looking surprisingly paper thin when he went head-to-head against the Death Prophet. It's possible that his Mask of Madness was enabled, and so he was losing some armor, and Exorcism was just straight shredding him, but there was no Spirit Siphon. He was underneath the protection of Spell Immunity, so I am I did not think that a 1v1 between Death Prophet and Razor was going to be that one-sided towards the Death Prophet, but
Well,
man, for having 16k net worth, that Razor did not feel like it.
it wasn't a really 1v1, right? It was essentially a 1v5. I really like the way that Ori played that team fight. So he popped his Exorcism, so instead of just focusing on the Razor, he ran forward and just zoned out the rest of LGD. Like the Wyvern tried to save and drop Curse or something to help out the Razor, but just straight up died. And the rest of LGD is like, okay, well, we actually can't go in. Like the Shaker couldn't go in. Ame and the Puck tried to go in on the south side, but they also got shredded after the Razor went down. So it was the good initiation of the Batrider dragging the Razor under the tower, and then also Ori zoning out the rest of the team. So the good 1-2 punch from Vici. And then they're now momentarily in the lead. And Exorcism is back up in 20.
And Roche is back up as well. And I think they can take Roche without having to spend Exorcism. They still don't have any medallions or solar crests or anything on their team, which is a little bit surprising. But Paparazzi is dealing quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, Weaver should be big enough at this point. I say that though, they are ticking it very slowly. Good. Okay, so the other nice thing about the talent of Tusk, that's really nice, is that you get 150 snowball damage at level 15. And what that means is you could use snowball and shard to one-shot a whole wave. So you can farm like a god.
Okay.
So in between like your 15 and 10 talent, you could actually become a semi-core.
They use Exorcism for this Roche.
That's bad.
And LGD think that they can fight it.
If they can grab one, great
There's
BKB.
A perfect curse opportunity.
And now the curse is going to come in, but the Exorcism is flying overhead. Paparazzi has the BKB active, so he's not really attacking his ally. Paparazzi will go back in time. No, he eats a cheese. He's okay. And now the coil will snap on the right side. Razor goes down. They are fighting They're fighting under Ori's Exorcism, and they're getting absolutely wrecked by it. The Exorcism will now end.
I think they were assuming that Exorcism was used earlier in that Roche attempt, and they were like, well, Death Prophet's gonna time out her Exorcism by the time we start this team fight, but time and time again, Ori has been using it towards like the 25% of Roche, and yeah, that was a lot of damage yet again. I should have probably pulled up that fight recap, but I'm assuming Ori dealt the most damage.
Yeah, he probably did. The other big thing was that I think LGD wanted to retreat in the first place, but then Batrider found a really good lasso on the Shaker. And then the rest of the team is like, well, I guess one of us got caught, might as well try to do something. Wyvern threw the curse. That was very ineffective because the BKB on the Weaver. They tried to focus on the Weaver, who had time-lapse and cheese, so he wasn't close to dying. So I think it was just a amalgamation of a lot of mistakes coming out from LGD.
Yeah, this hole that they're digging themselves is going deeper and deeper. They still have the Aegis on Paparazzi, they still have one cheese left on Ori, and I imagine, yet again, whenever Exorcism is up, they'll start going for high ground.
Oh, excuse me, I said Weaver had cheese. I guess he just time-lapsed. Evidently the cheese.
Well, no, because they may have had two cheeses.
Two cheeses, okay.
Because
they did have...
DP has been sitting on this cheese for a while.
Okay. Then who had the Aegis?
Weaver
still has the Aegis, okay.
Yeah, I think he backpacked to Tequila for a cheese.
Okay, makes sense. Well, Razor understands what's up. He knows he needs the Lincoln's block against the Batrider, but you normally don't say this because the Batrider is so farmed. He has so many active items to break the Lincolns if need be, right? Yeah, sure, he only has a 4-staff right now, but it would not surprise me if they'll go back for things for Yules if he feels the need to do so. And Young Levin, because he's so rich, he has actually discovered a new item, Lotus Orb. China has never bought it.
What?
Ever.
I've never heard of this thing.
You can only buy it if you're 7, 3, and 12 on the Batrider.
Oh.
Yeah.
Unlike the double magic wand build.
The fire ends. He could BKB TP. TP's in backpack right now, but looks like they're okay staying for now. Fissure's gonna clip. They still need to start off the fight with a Bat Lasso. Ori pops the ultimate, now goes straight on the Wyvern. Yao is gonna be dead for sure. Taps the Shrine, maybe. He's gonna die on the backside. Lasso finds the maybe he's gonna take a ton of that damage. Victoria waiting for the Echo Slam. Where's the Echo? Where's the Echo? Echo good on top. Fissure. No, the Fissure gets cancelled by Finrir. Fiend's Grip coming in big here. Ori's still alive, but it looks like all of the healing is out. No, he's still alive. Ori, the Exorcism, the Ghost Ladies. the moo-moos for the Pinos, if you know what I'm saying, is doing so much damage. Meanwhile, we got some Weaver Illusion shredding in the tier 3, and now they could just join the tier 3. Paparazzi already level 25, so Kuchi's join the creep wave. That might be the game-ending fight.
I think it might. That second cheese on Death Prophet kicking in at the last second, and Batrider actually ended up dragging the Razor into that activated shrine by Wyvern, and still, Ori was dealing so much damage with these Exorcism Spirits that it didn't even matter how much HP regen they were getting back, and a clutch, super clutch Fiend's Grip by Fender, making sure that Earthshaker is not able to get his full combo off.
I think if he got that full combo off, they win that team fight.
I think at least Phantom Lancer survives, that's for sure.
And then the DP
Death
dies.
Prophet dies. Yeah. I don't know if they would have won it entirely because Weaver is still dealing like a crap ton of damage. As now Fiend's Grip is going to cancel out Vane's TP, he's going to go down. But yeah, that was, Fenrir has been playing a hell of a game.
Yep. Well, I guess this is why they first pick Tusk, second pick the Bane, right? It's not a combo we see pretty frequently, but look at this Tusk, he's level 20 as a position for 2k in the bank with phase boots, as well as the Shadow Blade. Picks up 6 armor as well. And then if he somehow gets to level 25, it's actually pretty lowsy. He's just so tanky with plus 700 health. Like the talent tree on the Tusk is absolutely insane.
Dude, why do we have core Tusk happening? Everyone turned the Veno into a core after he got his XP gain talent. Why am I not seeing mid Tusk Midas?
I think it's because you could get essentially the same thing out of the Tusk as a 4 position. Like, look at how much he's doing already, right? You don't need to really commit too much farm on it, and if you play a decent game and you don't die, you're just gonna get a 4th core. And that's exactly what's happening here for Vici.
Yeah, I can see that. Kind of like a Kunkka-esque transition.
Right, or I think, remember back in TI2 days, you had like the Dendi mid Rubik, and then people start figuring out, wait, if we just put like a good 4 player on the Rubik, yeah, he's gonna get Blink, and he can still steal Ravages. Kind of like the same idea there.
Well, Aegis has been claimed on Paparazzi. He ended up not having to use it in any of those team fights. There are no more cheeses left, but it's okay. Vici Gaming are still well equipped. They've got Octarine Core completed on this Death Prophet, and the Lotus Orb on Young 11's Batrider. They're looking for the old backstab.
I don't see anything.
You can find Wyvern.
Oh, yeah, they see Wyvern. The row in on Victoria as well. Where did he go? Glimmer Cape's going to be pretty good. And now they have detection. Victoria dies without casting a single spell. Young 11 moving forward. Blink Dagger up in 5 seconds. Yao, can he drop off a curse and maybe TP out? They see maybe Lasso is going to be there to cancel the TP just in time. Huge play by Young 11 on the backside of the fight. Yule Scepter picks up the Ame, and look at the crit on the punch. Lanham shows off that he's a core too, and LGD calls GG.
That was the sickest flame break I've ever seen. He was not going to get in range for that lasso if the flame break did not bounce that Razor back. That was amazing. GG.
Yeah. You know, I thought that...
To Vici Gaming, let me clarify, because some people may have thought that LGD was going to get this free.
Yeah, I mean, whoever thought LGD was going to get this free is sadly mistaken. Vici playing extremely well here. And I gotta say, once again, this like early pick Shaker just hasn't been working out, because I feel like teams have figured out the playstyle to beat it, right? Just keep ganking him. Like, apply pressure. Don't give him that 5-6 minutes of free farm to let him get the blink. And by the time that Victoria got his blink, it was too late. Also, not a huge fan of the BOT on Phantom Lancer. To me, it just came online a little bit too late. Anywho, that is game 1 in the books. Vici 1 away from going to the grand finals. LGD needs 2 more. We'll take a short break, guys. Game 2 coming up.